This is the most important story that very few are talking about, or at least to talk about the way it should be. That's for sure. This has huge impacts on future of the world, and including your own retirement. This is it's amazing to me. It's so amazing that Pablo wants to join us. And don't forget, we're going live at noon today. And we'll go live every Friday at 4 p.m. on Locals. And so don't forget to sign up for the email list and then the Locals channel as well, the Doobly Doo. All right. I'm stunned by this. I don't care what I don't care about China's economic because I don't trust them. But population falls in China for the first time in decades. I cannot stress how much of an issue this is, man. Right here, China's population started shrinking in 2022, making the first drop since 1961. So watch this GIF. This is freaking insane. All right, so that's the amount of deaths, that's the amount of births. Look at that. So the births are on the top, the deaths are on the yellow. Look, I mean, there's less births. Oops, let me pause that. There are less. Let's just keep reading this. This is insane. According to the data, a total of 10.4 million people died in China, which is 400,000, a slight increase from about 10 million last year. Well, that's 400,000. That's not a slight increase, those 400,000. But be that as may. At the same time, 9.56 million babies were born, down from 10.62 a year earlier. The lowest level since at least 1950. I mean, the lowest level of babies being born since 1950. The population of the world, and it was, what, a third of what, a half what it is now? This is nuts. Despite efforts by the government to encourage families to have more children. This is truly a historic turning point, says Wen Fang. Every time I hear these. Did you ever see that the guy who pranked that news thing up in San Francisco about a Korean airline crashing? It's literally the funniest thing ever. Oh my god, you gotta look at the Korean airline crashing San Francisco pranked. It is so freaking funny. It's the onset of a long-term and irreversible population decline. While the decline officially began last year, the deaths outstripping births, the FT, Financial Times, note that some demographers argue the trend likely started before then. A guy from Wisconsin said the estimate that China's population started to fall in 2018. But the drop was obscured by faulty demographic. I don't even trust what the demographics are throughout the world. They got 7 billion people, and prove that, baby. Well, we just consolidate all what the countries say, and the countries don't know what the hell they're talking about. Hell, freaking in China and India, a significant amount of people don't even have running water, and yet you're going to have a census bureau that counts all these people. Give me a break. All right, abundant labor has been the fuel that has driven China's rapid growth for more than 4 decades. And now China is flying at high speed without enough fuel. Yep. Economists argue that the rise of automation will offset rising labor costs. Nope. It's idiotic, man. China's demographic disaster aside, the stellar economic data, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so here's India. India is going to overtake China by the end of this year in terms of population. Then it'll just be, it's going to be, it's just going to be on like Donkey Kong at that point. China, Korea, Europe, United States even, Japan, Russia. They're all dead. It's crazy. So that's no big deal, Josh. Let's take a look. All right, so I want to show you. This is the U.S. imports by country. We import $541 billion of goods from China. Where's India? 77 billion. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. We import almost $550 billion of goods from China, and we import, I don't know, was that an eighth of that or something like that from India? Look at Ireland with 3 million people, 4 million people, imports the same amount as we import from Ireland the same amount as we do from India. and Ireland has like 3 or 4 million people, something like that. Do you not see how insane this is? So I want to show you something else here. We import $550 billion of goods from China. We export to China $151 billion of goods to China. We export 58 billion to India. 58 billion. I mean, so a third of what we export to China, and India gives us an eighth of what we import from China. The ramifications of this are insane. This is not a growing economy, a growing world government is growing, but a growing world GDP. I'm telling you, man, all these people who use these historical models for their financial planning, I don't understand. This is insane. I mean, all these countries are dying. And I mean, when I mean dying, they're not going to be dead. There'll still be Koreans, there'll still be Americans, there'll still be Irish and whatnot. But it's no different than Rome. There's still a Rome, but there's no Roman Empire. You know what I'm saying? There's still a Turkey, but there's no Ottoman Empire. I mean, it's the same thing. I'm stunned. I just got off this, on Advisor Perspectives, and these people, I'm amazed at how few take serious. They just use historic rolling year. I don't get it, man. I'm like, dude, that if I were you, what I would do is I would adjust your assumptions on growth and inflation significantly downward. And that's what I do in my software. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to look at every year, I grant you, but still, it's like this is not the days of yore. Is it yore or lore? Yore are over. Does that mean tomorrow? No, but the next 20 years is not gonna be. It's not gonna be what we had the previous 20 years of just hell's bells, freaking everybody wants some. I want some too of rock and roll and good times. It's gonna be back to the ways of yore, and just be prepared. And of course, the worst thing can have if you're going into the days of yore is debt. There's just any kind of deflationary component loves debt. The lenders love you being in debt and deflationary components, or the deceleration of inflation. It just, all right. Love your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in about an hour and a half or so.